Rightfully in the Bible they said, and he who findeth a wife obtain favor from the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Well, I thank God because God has really given me my missing rib that my mother gave birth to me that was not attached to me. God has definitely given me that missing rib, and I want to thank God for that by giving me a faithful and dedicated wife.
Wow.
Yes, of course.
So that means you are going by the saying that for you to have a successful home, you have to marry the right one. Being in marriage for 10 years is not an easy thing. From my previous episode, I usually start by saying that many people said that for you to have a successful and faithful marriage, you have to marry the right person. But how do you know the person that you married to is the right person? Today, in my episode, I am hosting a young man who have been in this union for about 10 years now. Good afternoon, brother.
Good afternoon, Mr. Michael.
Yes, sir. You said you are about 10 years in marriage now. Is it true?
Certainly so, yeah, right.
Oh, wow. How is it?
And it's not easy, but it takes the grace of God, and God has been the pillar of this union from day one up to this very moment in which we are now. And I want to give God the praise, because had it not been for God, who knows what would have happened. Because rightfully in the Bible they said, and he who findeth a wife obtain favor from the Lord, right?
Yeah.
Well, I thank God because God has really given me my missing rib that my mother gave birth to me that was not attached to me. God has definitely given me that missing rib, and I want to thank God for that by giving me a faithful and dedicated wife.
Wow.
Yes, of course.
So that means you are going by the saying that for you to have a successful home, you have to marry the right one.
Yes, of course.
So before you got married to her, how do you know at that time that this woman will be the right one for me?
Well, for me, one thing that I uphold in life is I have a strong instinct that tells me when something is good, whether I should venture into it or I should not. And for meeting her the very first time, I know she is a replica of my mother. Yes, of course, because my mom has been so faithful to my dad, and because of the trait in what I copied from her and what I see her doing while I was coming up, and whilst dating with my pretty and beautiful wife, and I got to sense these things from her in the manner in which she presents herself, right? Firstly, she's God-fearing. That one, I want to thank God for that. And she is someone who is hardworking. Yes, of course. Then to crown it all, another thing again that she noticed, because I am the one and only son to my parents, right?
Okay.
That love they have for me, that love they've pampered me with whilst growing up, she noticed it from my mom, and she has even done more than what my mom has used to do to me, right? And for that I am grateful, because she know I am the only high to my mom, and my mom cherished that. She also sensed that, and I said, no, wow, I think I should copy from where, or I should start from where the mom has left. Yes, of course.
Wow. Let me ask you this question. You said you have married for about 10 years.
10 years now.
So how many years have you all been together?
Well, if I can take a flashback, I think we've been in this relationship for 2 decades now. Yes,
2 decades,
yes,
20
of
years.
Course, yes, of course.
Wow.
Because it's a relationship that spanned back way when I was just in SS. After I sat to my Becky,
Okay, that the basic
education certificate examination.
Okay.
And that was way back in 1999, right? Yes, that was the time I sat to my Becky. So at that time, we were staying at Liverpool Street, but because of one condition or the other, we have to move from Liverpool Street to Percival Street, right? And eventually, I found my missing lady. She was staying at Wallace Johnson Street by then, but knowing, in Sierra Leone, after you've taken the Becker examination, it takes a while for you to go back to school, right?
Yeah.
And so it was during this vacation of the Becker students per se. By then, I was sitting down and school had already opened for those who are continuing their school. So one day, she was passing by. She was coming right down from Connaught, one of the main government hospital. Yes, because she stays around that vicinity. So she was coming up, and I was on the main government hospital. So she was coming that fateful morning, and I was sent by my mom to buy bread. And so I saw the person coming, and my instinct tells me, I think this one should be the right one. So at first sight, I could not approach her because I was shy. So and I find a friend of mine, right, and by the name of Donald, because he had been at Percival Street for
a while.
Yes. So I took this news to him and said, Donald, guess what happened today? I saw someone, that lady caught my heart. Yes, of course, let me say in that of our local franca, meaning I get fascinated to her because as she was going to school, I could not even concentrate to where I was sent to go and buy the bread. I keep staring at her until she vanished.
So, thank you very much for that explanation. So, let me come now to your relationship now. So, for this past 20 years, have you been sailing smoothly?
Wow! I think there is no perfect relationship, right?
Yeah.
But because rightly when I started, I said the foundation is based on God. The relationship we established at first sight, and God has really manifested itself to us. I can't say everything was nice or was sailing smoothly as expected, but along the line we get some heated arguments and some misunderstanding happened. But for once, those misunderstandings never hurt the relationship to whatever extent, because we have God at the foundation of it.
Okay, that's good. So what about your family? Is your family getting along with her?
Definitely so, they are, because in my family in which I hail from, we are not that large, right? As rightly as I said, I'm the only child.
Male child?
Yes. No, only child.
Oh, yeah,
to
the
be
only
specific,
child.
yes.
Okay.
Because if I could say, my mom gave birth to 3 of us, and I fortunate to be the very last of those 3 children, and the 2 of them, they are deceased now and at a very tender age. So I was the only one left for them to look after. So that's love, right?
Okay.
And my wife now try to do or replicate what my mom has been telling her, that this is my, let me say, ball high in Creole.
Okay.
Please, if you want me to get along with you, I think you must take very good care of him. And to be honest, she has done extremely well. in that aspect.
Wow.
And she's still keeping doing well.
Wow.
Yes, of course.
So let me ask you another question.
Yes, of course.
Has the thought ever gone to your mind that I don't want to marry this person before you get married? Has that thought ever gone into your mind?
No, that has never happened for once.
Mr. Tucker, has the thought ever gone into your mind that is this person will be the right person for me before marriage?
Yes, of course now, because in our setting, and whilst we were dating, I got to find out that all the things, my dislike, she knows them, my like, she also knows them, right? And I see she's trying very, very hard to see how best she can make me happy all the time, because she's someone that loves to ask questions, and she knows my mood when I'm happy, she knows when I'm sad, she knows. So she has that sense of humor to detect that. And so for once, I always think this particular person is my soulmate and we will definitely get along. So for once, I never thought of her not being the right person. From the first day I set my eyes on her, I knew she was the one.
So from the first day,
Yes, of course.
you knew she was the one.
Yes, of course.
Wow, that's an incredible statement.
Yes, of course.
And I hope that you too you are a good boy to her.
And she can testify.
She can.
Yes, because the honest truth is, I have been through it thick and fast, right? And I have my ups and I have my downs. And whilst growing up, because of the vicinity in which I found myself, right? And I got to the exposure, because whilst coming up, I am always indoor at home. The only time you can see me out is either I'm going to school or I'm going to church, right? So, but when I got to that Becker stage, and in my senior secondary school days now, and some amount of leverage was given to me by my dad by then, because he's a disciplinarian and he wants the best for me. So he was at my neck to see that everything goes right as he expected. So in my senior school days, I got attracted by colleagues of mine, and this time now, because I'm now in senior school, the leverage that has already been given to me, I took upon myself now to be doing things out of the way. By this I mean, I go out now with friends, we go to work, we leave classes, we skip classes just to go around these schools, girls
Schools,
yes, girls schools to be specific, with that interest keep coming and it keeps growing. But along the line, after I found out that my wife now, and she was frowning at me being that idling, going about places from here to there with aimlessly, because of the friendship that I have now.
Peer
pressure, rightly. So she frowns at those movements of mine. So because I knew and I wanted to give her the happiness she deserves, I have to let go of all these things and stay glued to her.
Okay. So my final question, Mr. Tucker, what advice would you like to give the young ones, people who are considering to enter the marital union, but they are still doubting themselves if they are going to make a good choice? What are you going to advise them?
Well, for me, I think that aspect of skepticism in their mind, I think it's something they should go above. One, first of all, I think they must implore God to be at the foundation of whatever venture they want to take. By this I mean, I think they put prayers to God and say, my Father and my God, this is what I want to do. Give me revelation whether I should venture into it or I should not. I think that's one. Then secondly, what I think is most appropriate again for whatever venture that you want to take, especially for this union, this marital bliss to say. And I think it's better you make flashbacks. I mean these flashbacks, I think watch the person you are intended to get married to, watch her lineage, go back and check whether she hails from a very decent family. That's another thing I think we should take into consideration, because in our ups and downs, had it not been that my wife came from a very humble background, right, in which the parents are disciplinarians, and they have the fear of God, I think our relationship would have been, what should I say? I think our relationship should have ended because of some misunderstanding we had along the line, right? So I'm employing younger folks to be specific when they want to take this venture. Make sure the person you are getting married to, the background, as I rightly said earlier on, make sure the mom has been married to the dad of that your future spouse to be, and see how the mom of your spouse has been in that house and how she brings up the children for them to match up to that status of getting married. I think that's another thing they should take into consideration.
Yeah, that's true, but even some single parents also bring up their children in a very decent manner also. You don't think so?
Well, it varies. It takes the grace of God, because in our world today, and as a result of being a single parent, maybe there is some amount of misunderstanding between the two parents. That is why they are not getting along. I'm not taking that as a yardstick to measure either, but I'm just giving them that you must make these ventures, check back, just look around, because for no reason an orange can give birth to a mango. That can never be for once, right?
So, Mr. Tucker, as we are rounding up now, you have been in a relationship for 20 years, since you guys were kids. Marriage for 10 years. I know that the marriage is being blessed fruitfully.
Yes, of course.
So, how many kids do you have together?
We have 3.
3 kids?
Yes, of course. We have 2 boys and my beautiful princess.
And a girl.
Yes,
wow. And I pray that they continue to do well.
Yes, of course.
Oh. Yeah, you now have a big man, the first child.
Yes, of course. I thank God for his life.
Okay.
Yes, because he's at a crossroad in his life. He's about to take the WASC,
the senior secondary
West
school exam.
Africa senior secondary school examination.
He's a big man now.
Yes, of course. I pray he does hit the mark and got university requirement.
Thank you very much, Mr. Frank Tucker. I appreciate talking to me. I hope that you will come again in another time.
Yes,
maybe in another capacity.